Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nok Muay. Go check it out.
Welcome to this episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. I have Ryan Ughoc, Pu'u Muay Thai Santa Barbara, again on here. If you've been listening for any amount of time, it's not the first time, not the second time, not the third time, way more than that since the beginning. So,
and probably not the last.
Yeah, but it's the first time that you've
Definitely
been
not
on here.
Yeah, since fatherhood, for sure. We got Noah Boy in the background starting to wake up from my loud voice, but yeah. He's good. He's a chill baby. He's going to hang out with us.
Awesome. So, we were talking about this Eat, Sleep, Teep semi-contact Muay Thai event coming up October 20th. I just talked about it in a previous episode, just tease it out a little bit. But obviously, it's you, your wife Carol, and myself helping get all the balls rolling on this thing in Ventura at Tuttle Gym, Ventura High School. So we were talking briefly a little bit about this, and I know that we're both very excited for this for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be amazing. It's something we've been talking about for years. We've always said, man, it would be so cool if we can do something like that.
And to have it like in our backyard, because you were doing stuff down in Mexico, helping with Brooke and Eddie with Rumble. You and Carol were. And now
we learned a lot.
Yes.
We learned a lot down there, for sure.
Yeah. And that it's doing it in a different country where you're not there. It's not in your backyard. That's different night. That's a different thing.
So hard, man. We were only there for like a week at a time, so we had to get there and like run around and do everything in that week. So we are both definitely stoked that like we don't have that stress on us with this one like we did the other. So it's gonna be a smooth event.
Yes, and the production is a little bit different with it's not like professional world titles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, talking about like these semi-contact things and how they are going to work, because we haven't really had anything like this around in Ventura, Santa Barbara area to develop people from Muay Thai. We never had anything like this.
That is huge. That's huge. There's been events like that, but none of them has been geared towards like developing like real Muay Thai skills for like Muay Thai fights. There's been some like kickboxing stuff like that, and then some of the ones that I have seen out there, their rule set isn't very Muay Thai.
Doesn't develop towards the long run. And it's not exactly shade at anybody or anything. It's just like, hey, we like this needs to happen here in Ventura and Santa Barbara area to develop people for full contact. That's like
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. We need to have something here consistently, not just like once in a while, and have exposed people to like the culture of Muay Thai and the way. The difference between Muay Thai and other martial arts, basically.
Yes. So one of the key things is we require Muay Thai shorts to be worn when you compete. This is very important. Not MMA shorts, not wearing spandex. Muay Thai shorts, right?
Absolutely. That's important.
We have like some people who are set up to be able to do Y Crew as well. And we just had some news about the U.S. Army. Right? They're hearing it
That's
first.
sick.
U.S. Army is sponsoring Eat, Sleep, Teep semi-contact, and they're going to do a color guard for opening for it. And for me, that's super cool. Like,
that's awesome.
When I was going to that high school at Ventura High School, I was like the opposite of patriotic. Like, we were going through all the 9/11 stuff. I was behind the troops and everything like that. But it was just really hard to like relate to that But over the years and competing internationally, being in international competitions, sometimes you're the only American there, and the only resemblance of home is when they play the national anthem for you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
crap, man, I'm here by myself in this country of people that want to kill me.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that like feeling that we're gonna have at the event for people, like with the national anthem and stuff like that too. I'm pumped for that.
Definitely, me too. I think I think bringing that in is gonna be a good like a better experience for the crowd. It's gonna help make their experience better.
Oh, absolutely. And especially for the kids and like the teenagers, because sometimes they don't really see that stuff. We just came out of like COVID. If some kid was born during COVID, it's probably one of the first events they might go to. Like that's the reality. Who knows? Depending on how these families were affected during that time and everything, this might be one of the first like big like group outings they go to as a family.
Yeah,
so I'm very pumped for that too, and to have that be a Muay Thai event. I'm super stoked.
It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick.
We also got Kingdom Supply Co. from Albuquerque, New Mexico, coming out, one of our sponsors as well.
They got some sick gear too.
Yeah, Mark, I wear his shirt a lot. The designs that they have, it has like the Sakyan designs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle. It's not like over the top. Like I see some of the Muay Thai fight gear, and it kind of reminds me of like the tap out version of like Muay Thai gear, where it's like super like bedazzled and everything. I'm like,
it's starting to all look the same almost. Like it. I guess you go to all the fight shows and you see the same stuff all the time, and you're like, oh yeah, another booth. So I'm stoked to have a new company come out that have stuff that like not everyone else has, or that you haven't seen unique. A bunch of times. Totally. It's different.
Very, very unique. We also have Tomahawk Barbershop from Ventura, California, who keeps me freshly faded, right? And they cut up a couple of the instructors at the Ventura Academy as well. So shout out to Idon and the team over at Tomahawk for supporting this event as well, because this whole thing, like, we can't do it without our community, and that's the whole reason we're doing this is for the community. So it's super great to hear these people wanting to get behind that and support the community as well, and see the value of this, right, of what martial arts does.
Yeah, the community getting behind this it's been the biggest motivating factor. Like, okay, we have support, we have people behind us, like, and that just pushes us to keep going. It's hard because I've been in those situations where you're like, oh, I don't have any help. And you start rethinking and questioning yourself. But with all the support, it's like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And when there's not a way, we find a way. Because
exactly.
We were talking for years, man, like before Santa Barbara happened, it was the whole purpose to have more Muay Thai here in this part of the coast of California.
Yes.
Right? So this is a natural progression of it. Yeah, they have like the fights at the casino and stuff like that too, but none of them, it's all mixed rules kind of thing that you see.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to see some full contact stuff come to like Ventura County, Santa Barbara County.
Yeah, but there's some stuff in the works.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming down here also. So
maybe when you get that stuff solidified, you can leak that one out here.
Yeah, just let everyone know there's stuff in the works, but stay tuned.
Pumped for it. So we were talking also a little bit about, for these matches and stuff that are happening, about what is Muay Thai, right? We were talking about like a balance, the techniques, because Muay Thai semi-contact, it's kind of like an oxymoron. Like, because Muay Thai is damage, that's like the number one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also needs to happen in order for people to get experience, and it also allows like the way the law is in California, it allows us to hold these events in a safe manner, and it makes it like it's a lower barrier to entry than full contact for not just the promoters, but also the competitors.
Yes.
Right? Because it's not as high of stakes as a full contact thing where it's encouraged to knock your partner out, knock the opponent out, right? This is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And it's like the intent kind of thing. So that's what I mean by oxymoron, because it's like that's inherently Muay Thai is the knockout.
The damage, inflicting damage. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go the layer below that, right? It's like, you know, you're talking about techniques of Muay Thai, talking about teeps to the thigh, talking about teeps to the hip, the body, right? You're talking about good knees to the targets, where obviously no knees to the head, good body kick, off balancing techniques, right? And good defense and balance as well. Because like not getting it, not checking and falling over, which I think, you know, you work
stance and balance is huge part is a huge thing what the judges are looking at.
Yeah. So, and that's something that directly translates over to full contact too, because those little things that go into judging criteria for Muay Thai is if everything's equal, that balance, like if you check a kick and I check a kick, like I block it and it moves me and it doesn't move you, like if you push me off balance a little bit, that could be a deciding factor in a round. If you're getting down to splitting hairs and it gets that close.
Absolutely.
So having a developmental way of getting that and encouraging it, right? Not just going out and machine gun blasting the other person and, you know, touching them as many times as you can because it's semi-contact. Right?
Yeah.
But keeping it inherently Muay Thai. So the other things on there, like defense. So blocking, right? How you're blocking kicks, how you're defending against knees, right? If you see somebody getting clinched up doing this, with their arms down, we all know in Muay Thai is to keep your head up, posture in, right? Close the space. So I think it's going to really create a good educational experience. I saw there was like a judo school, right? Or is it taekwondo school that signed up?
Yeah. That's my buddy I used to train with in Santa Maria back in the day.
So like it's a cool educational thing also for those schools that are wanting to get some of that experience with that too.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You know, it helps develop, you know, more activity for everybody.
It absolutely does. It helps the athlete learn how to like perform in front of a crowd and keep it together. Like if they're just winding up and throwing with all their power, we'll tell them our judges aren't going to score that. So if you're going to throw those, one, the judges aren't going to score those. Two, the referee is going to try to talk you down off that ledge and get you back to get your head together and get your composure back together and go out and try to fight smart. So I think the rule set is going to allow fighters to feel comfortable when they do go to those contact events. They're going to have better balance. They're going to already be in front of a crowd. They're already going to, you know, it's not like it's different when you see an athlete go in front of a crowd for the first time compared to when they've done it 5 times. Like that, that preparation is a little different for the time they do that for their first time. So it allows people to get a taste of that without the, okay, we're going to try to knock each other out now.
Yeah, without those nerves of like, oh man, I might get knocked out right now. Chance, right? Because that get instantly, like, especially you said, like you said it well, the difference between the first time and the 5th time stepping out in front of people to do this.
Absolutely.
So it gets rid of those fight or flight nerves, or it helps soothe them a little bit and allows the referee to have some different commands as well.
Yeah.
Like full contact one is stop, break, fight.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And then counting.
Yeah.
Knocked down. And there's stop, break, fight with these, but it's also, hey, time. Hey, I need you to lower the power level down. Right.
Yes.
You know, that, like, for both, you bring them both in. And that's different than what you see traditionally from a referee. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The referee, if they start getting heavy, they'll give 1 to 2 warnings, possibly, if it's not getting out of control. what we're looking for is a fighter to respond and get their composure back together and get their head in it and start making intelligent decisions rather than just caveman decisions, you know?
Yes, exactly. Not just bite down the mouthpiece, look down, and wing over him, right?
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So, if athlete is unable to get the composure, they'll get stopped.
Absolutely. No problem stopping it. Safety is their biggest concern.
Oh, yeah, because we want people to be able to do these. Aldama has one the week after. Like, we want people to be able to go and do that. Right?
There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. They shouldn't be that beat up from these to where they can't go the next week.
Exactly. So, going on to that too, is the same thing with, people who we've seen some of these semi-contact events where, like, there's people cutting weight for them, right?
Yeah.
And
let's talk about that, please.
Yeah, that is insane, man. Like, so first of all, you and me both know. So in Muay Thai, you don't usually cut as, like, people tend to sit a little bit closer to their weight. They're not as extreme weight cuts. You see extreme weight cuts, but it's not as common and encouraged like in boxing or in MMA.
Because they're doing it every other week.
Yeah, there is high volume, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes into, like, being a weight bully, it doesn't really make sense because you want to be able to compete. Like, the goal is to be able to go to these national tournaments where you have to weigh in multiple times at international level.
Yeah.
And to be able to compete and do those multiple day weigh-ins and perform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you said let's talk about it, I know that you brought athletes to some of these where the person cut a bunch of weight.
Yes.
And so it's like, hey, like, what's why?
What's the point? Yeah.
That, right?
What I tell people to do, and this is really good for, like, someone competing for the first time, is I'll ask them when they decide, what do they weigh? Okay, I'm 155. And they'll say, okay, I think you should sign up at 150. I think if you don't have to cut weight, but if you're training properly, you're going to lose 5 pounds. And what that does is gets them to start watching their weight and managing what they're eating. And then if they are doing it properly, they'll probably sign up at like 145 just because they're training harder, they're eating better, and they're going to naturally lose weight if they're putting the work into it. So it helps them start to, like, keep an eye on their weight and balance it. But I tell people, don't try to go like 10, 15 pounds below what you are right now. Like, that's madness.
Yeah. And seeing that, it's just like, man, don't do that to yourself. It's like, save it for when you're getting paid.
Yeah. Or there's a belt.
Yeah. Something cool, like, maybe worthwhile, like, where it matters.
Yeah.
So, like, not saying these don't matter, but it's just, this is not the place to be doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't hold the same weight as, like, an amateur title fight, for sure.
Yeah. It's just completely different, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we want you to be at a certain weight, but, like, and you should try to shoot for it. It's your time to practice that, right? And make sure that, like, hey, if you said you're going to be 145, be 145. But you shouldn't be, like you said, you shouldn't be signed up at 145 if you're walking around 160 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So,
and for all those people that signed up out there, if you guys are hearing this for your first time and you need to readjust your weight class, by all means, contact us. We'll readjust you. It makes it a lot easier on us as when we're making the matches that we know people are going to come in at that weight instead of people getting those high hopes and dreams that they're going to drop 15 pounds and make weight. And then they come in and now they don't have an opponent. And now your opponent doesn't have an opponent. And then now we're scrambling trying to fix that problem. So I hope you guys are hearing that.
Hey, that's a great message for anybody out there. Just shoot an email to info@eatsleepteep.com. You can go on there or on the web chat. That's on there too. Like, there's so many different things that you can do to contact and get that changed over. Let us know sooner rather than later.
And don't be ashamed by it. That's why we're doing these events, so that way you get the experience and understand how they work.
Yes, and just because you have a match for it, it doesn't. It's okay. Like, you let us know. You never know. Maybe that other person's also having issues and reach out to us,
Yeah.
right? And needs to get bumped up. Maybe we're doing the same thing, and you both need to adjust. So like, let's just do that instead and make it easier, and you guys will be much happier. And your teammates and your coaches will probably like being around you a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not carb starved or whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
To
Mad at everyone.
Exactly. So let's talk a bit about, one of those things too is, talking about people counting these, like when they're going to the national tournaments and being forthcoming.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a lot of conversation that's around in the Muay Thai community about whether these kinds of things count. It's like, okay, it is experience, but it's not the same as a fight. But like, the thing is, a lot of these national tournaments, part of their criteria for their bracketing is they count these as experience.
Right? Yes.
And so any coach out there, you're mindful of it for your athletes,
Mm-hmm.
mindful, Creds, mindful of it for athletes in Ventura too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what division is this going to put this person in?
Absolutely.
Right. So C class is typically 3 bouts or matches and under, right? Any 3. So it could be 1 full contact and 2 of these semi-contact matches.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to understand, and it's one of those things that you and me have talked about. Is like, why is this not more of a conversation? Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that conversation is happening elsewhere. And
absolutely.
I had to break that ice.
And also, like, the coach needs to know the organization they're dealing with and what they're counting and what they're not counting. If you want to be that person that's going to try to sandbag their way to a national title, then, well, good luck with that. But know where you're competing. If they're counting those, tell them. State of California, you can tell them smokers, but they're not really looking at that, or the PKBs, and they're not really looking at that. They want to know only amateur. So
yeah, I had that recently with a promoter for one of the guys from Ventura. They're like, "Oh, this person has 3 fights." I'm like, "Well, how many semi-contact bouts do they have?" And they're like, "No, 9." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
This is not a 3-fight athlete, right? This is also somebody who has a bit more experience than 3 fights. So you have to like." And I really am putting this out there for any matchmaker promoter, like, to be up front. I think it's becoming more normalized. It's just,
I think so.
There was a long period where it wasn't, so people just don't think to discuss it. It's just kind of assumed, you have those too.
Yeah.
It used to be the same thing with smokers.
I was just gonna say that. My guys only had 1 fight, and the kids like 20 fights in.
I got 20 smokers though.
Yeah.
Right. Dude. You would assume, and it used to be assumed that if you were fighting on a sanctioned amateur bout, that you had a handful of smokers already. It was just like, you have at least 8 or 10 of these things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when they outlawed those, it made it much harder. These kind of semi-contact things kind of filled the void a little bit, right?
It's the new smokers.
Yes, without it being a smoker, because it's not full contact, right? So, because smokers typically took place.
Smokers were full contact.
Yeah, and they took place in a ring.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the term smoker, because you had a student who was like, "Coach, I don't want to put the wrong thing. Did I do a smoker?"
He I don't know. I think he thought we were asking if he smokes. He's a good kid, though.
Yes. So the reason, I guess the term smoker came from, like, they used to do underground, like, boxing fights.
Yeah.
It was at, like, clubs. There would be,
like a smoky room.
Yeah, drinking, scotch and betting on amateur fights. These are called, like, blue collar, like, underground fights, essentially. And that's where the term smoker came from, because it was unregulated fights is what it was.
Yeah.
So that's where that term came from. And this is, regulated. We have trained officials that are going to be there.
That's another thing. Let's talk about that too.
Yes.
So, all of our officials have experience.
Yep. And when it comes into the experience, is like, you've had the experience, officiating professional and amateur judging.
Mm-hmm.
Why, we have a few other judges there that I'm not going to, you guys can show up and come see them or see the pictures afterwards. But we have a few other people that have that experience too that are going to be there in Ventura. Like, this is dope. I was telling you the other day, I was talking to somebody about some of the marketing stuff that was going on. And I told them, like, yeah, and I'm from Ventura. And they're like, what? Like, you don't sound like someone would be from Ventura. I'm like, what do you mean? It's just, and I always forget. And I was actually reminded of this the other day. Is my high school. I gave a speech because I was voted most likely to succeed. But it was a continuation school, so the bar was low.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, my dad reminded me. I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot. And what I said was, you know what? I'm not going to college. I'm going to travel.
You did it.
That's what I did, but I did it through martial arts, right? But
yeah,
and bringing those people that we've met from around the world, bringing them back to our backyard.
Yeah.
And sharing that world-class experience they have and training and knowledge, through seminars. It's like I have like a stamp Fairtex thing back here. Stamp for, Smila, Jungsonon, Angela Chang, all these people that come in. And now we're doing it for these matches and stuff too. And I think it's just going to keep elevating the community. And, I encourage all, and I know you do too, all martial arts schools. If you're interested in doing this, like, reach out. If you have questions, like, you're welcome to come, please. All right, we want more opportunities.
Absolutely. The Muay Thai community is a very respectful community. And so when we all get together, it's always a good time, good experience. The athletes get good experience. Any school is welcome that wants to compete under Muay Thai rule set.
Absolutely. And respect and learn, right?
Yeah. The biggest thing is come with respect from athletes to coaches. Everybody keeps the respect level high. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And we put that on our registration form too.
Yeah.
Right. The registration form, I'm pulling it up right now. It says, by checking this box, you're stating that you have filled out this form truthfully. Okay. So you also agree that you'll uphold good sportsmanship and positive attitude at the event, respect the event venue. Failure to uphold good sportsmanship could lead to permanent expulsion from our events.
Absolutely. We have no problem getting the bad apples out of the
bunch. We don't want
out of the bunch, right? So they don't ruin everything.
So I think we're not going to have that issue.
I don't think so either.
No, for this kind of thing, I think it's going to really come together in a great way. So
we've seen these work in the past, and when they work, it's a beautiful thing. Everybody learns. So you come with that mindset, and you guys are gonna get some good experience in.
Absolutely. Well, going into it too, you guys have some students from Santa Barbara. We have people coming from LA and stuff like that, and like Central Coast. If there's any words out there that you'd like to give to everybody, what would it be about this?
The one thing I've been telling, I have a lot of people that are interested. I have people that have only been training a short period of time that are interested, and I tell people, no matter where your level's at, this event should be a safe event for you to come in and get that experience. It's if you're at a level of where you're sparring and you're sparring in class, you're at a position where you can do one of these events. It's going to be harder than the sparring in class for sure, but the referees and officials are going to be there to control that pace, to make sure that it's not just a scrum. You know what I mean? So yeah. I tell people it's about going through that process, committing to something, training for that, and then stepping out there and doing it. And that I've seen that change people's trajectory, their path in life, like understanding what they're capable of. The that's huge for a person, understanding that they're not made out of glass, that they're not going to break, that they have the ability to defend themselves. They have the ability to like put themselves in that situation. And at the end, it's like they learn so much more about themselves. And it's something that like they carry with them in their day-to-day life. You know, every trouble they face, they've gone through that physical fight. And so that mental fight is, okay, I can do this now.
Yeah, absolutely. And no one can ever take that from you.
Yep, absolutely.
Always happens.
Yep.
So, you know, anybody that's interested, listening, watching later on, you know, you can always go check out for the most up-to-date news on this. The link will be in the show notes as well. So if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to this, it'll be in the show notes, eatsleepteep.com. Go check it out. Go subscribe to the newsletter. That way you're kept up to date on all the latest that's going on with it. And Coach Ryan, thanks for coming in today, man.
Absolutely. We got exactly 1 month away.
Yep.
We have a bunch of matches already. Get your registration in and get on it.
All right. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, go check us out at podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. So what do you cop?